we are looking at a quarterly review. We're getting into April, really, but you're going to see some trend lines as what's been happening over the last year in the real estate market for our, Mandeville, Covington, New Orleans, Jefferson, Metairie, Kenner, and Tangipahoa. So come check it out. Now, I can speak, this is going to be data driven, and it's also going to be kind of experienced emotion driven, because I know what we have felt here in the team for the first 3-4 months of the year, that we have taken a record number of homes for sale this year. We've been doing this. Combined experience on team is approaching like 70 years, kind of maybe closer to 60, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And we've never taken more listings in our career. There's so much pent up desire for home ownership, for investment, for buying and selling than I've ever seen it in my 21 years. People have been waiting for things to get more affordable. And we kind of had some glimpses of that in the first quarter, January, February, March, and then we had all trouble break out in the Middle East, like golly. So and then you saw even like February, March, we had record numbers or highest levels of mortgage applications being taken in the last, sometimes it was 4 years, 5 years. For a company in Envoy, it was the highest number of applications, I think, ever. And still rates came back up, not high, but they're, depending who you are, 6.3, 6.5, maybe closer to 6 or below, depending who you are, credit wise and debt to income. So that's kind of cool things off, some mixed signals, but that demand is still out there. And there are a lot of people that are choosing to come off the sidelines. And where that is happening is, if you remember, this is the experience kind of emotional part of the video I'm explaining, affordability for home buyers back in 2020, 2021, and part of 22 went down, couldn't afford as much, rates were lower. And then home prices really high. And then again, that 2021 scenario going into 22, not only did they go up, they shot up. And that was sticker shock for a lot of people, that you lost 10, 20 or more percent of buying power. You could buy literally 20% less as rates climbed up to 8%. Now we're back down to the 6% range, and we've been here for a good long time. Could have been high sixes, low sixes, below 6. So we kind of have this steady. People in general, we don't like drastic change. If there's drastic change, we're going to freeze up and not do anything. So as this new normal settles in this 6% scenario, people are ready to make a move. They feel like it's steady. I feel like I can do this. Affordability is still low because there's a lot of people that still can't afford it. There are still ways to buy down the rates even lower. But as we get to this, call it high 5s, low 6, mid 6 scenario, people are ready to take action. And that's what we're seeing in the numbers. All that's saying, we're seeing this in the numbers. So check it out. So here, the data points might move and shift. I'm going to try to keep it from April to April on the line graph. Yet over here on the right side, you can see the change. This is April, okay, going over 1 year. So this is comparing April going back a year. And I did like a rolling 12 months. And you can see, just for nothing else, the data is hard to actually read. Check out the trend lines. And we have we have the 4 main parishes of what we service. And of course, we go into Livingston, we go into St. Bernard, and even Baton Rouge in some instances. But this is the 4 main parishes. You have Orleans, St. Tammany is blue, Tangi is orange, Jefferson Parish is green. So if we look at sales price, let's just look at the average sales price. The trend is pretty steady over the last year. There's some dips, there's some higher points, but if you look back, let's see, that's June, we're May, move the screen a little. Here's April, all right, Orleans Parish, average was 456, St. Tammany's 365, 478, St. Tammany's down a little bit, 0.6%. So you can see it going back a year, how the percentages have changed right here on the right side. So that April 25 or April 26, you can see how prices have changed. And it's mixed, right? St. Tammany's down, Tangi's up, Jefferson's up. But then actually, the number of homes for sale, April to April, 25 to 26, fewer homes in Orleans for sale, fewer in St. Tammany. Tangi, they're up. Jefferson, they're up. Again, mixed signals, but we see the price range, the price increase in Orleans. Well, there's fewer homes for sale. So that's an indicator, okay, less supply and there's pent-up demand is coming out into the market and wanting to buy. Therefore, you see fewer homes for sale. You see the prices going up. Again, not to say, hey, you're not riding the crest of a wave in an increasing market. That's not necessarily the case because there are a lot of homes that are still sitting. All right. Real estate typically does appreciate 4% per year on average. For the last 30 to 40 years, it's been doing that. So that's homes for sale. Pending sales, you can see the trend here. Wow. Like across the board, the number of pending homes in April 26, you can see the trend line is higher than it was in April of 20. You can look in May. Just the trend lines are going up for these three parishes. Tangipahoa in the orange, it's kind of a little bit more flat, but that just reflects a smaller percentage increase of what's pending. Closed sales. All right. St. Tammany up 14%, Orleans up 6%. Tangi's actually down. Like Tangi was kind of like a good value for a lot of people. It still is, but actually the number of closed sales April to April is down. So sticking April right here. Days on market. Interestingly, pending sales are up. In some areas, there's fewer homes for sale, and yet still higher days on market on average for the listings. Isn't that interesting? Mixed signals, right? If there's more demand and less supply in some areas, why is it taking longer to sell? Buyers can choose. Buyers can wait. They don't have to sell in a lot of instances. They can pay rent. They can stay in the existing home they're in. So taking longer to make the decision, buyers can wait for the right home to show up. Month supply. Look how much it's come down in Orleans. It's up in Tangi. And that's in Tangi, you see that high number. That's like month supply of inventory. That's up 22%. There's a lot of new construction still over in that parish. Like a lot of new homes being built, affordable subdivisions for sure, some good builders. It's just, there's a lot of new construction. Let's go to showings per listing. I always like this because this is a sign of activity. The number of showings per listing is up in Orleans and St. Tammany, neutral in Jefferson, down in Tangipahoa. So if you take all the listings out there and you take all the showing appointments that have been scheduled and you make that division, there's actually, that shows you the number of home average showings per listing. Of course, some listings are going to get 10, some are going to get 1, just depends, but that's average. And that's, again, a sign of increased activity, higher pendings, higher showings per listing in some areas. So market is getting better. Hopefully we've hit bottom and we can get stuff coming back down again. If the war can end, that would be fabulous. I think everybody would be happy about that. And we can get back to the business of real estate. There is no industry in our country that has produced more millionaires creating wealth for people than owning real estate. And that starts with owning a home. It builds families, it builds communities, and we want that for you. That's our mission at Place, is the dream of home ownership everywhere. So I hope you found this helpful. We are happy to do a more thorough market analysis for your specific situation because neighborhoods, subdivisions have their own trends as well. Real estate is a micro market, and it varies from city to city, neighborhood to neighborhood, and even different parts of different cities. Markets change. So it's really very interesting to dig into. We're happy to provide that service for you. And of course, if you have questions about insurance, home repairs, consider us a resource. We know a lot of folks in those industries. And we also, as I've mentioned before, have a mortgage company. So if you're just, hey, we're not buying, we're not selling, but we'd like to refinance or pull out some equity to do some home renovations or a pool, or even look into investment property, we can help with that as well. So feel free to ask. no hassle, no obligation. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, you're welcome to subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.